A reference angle is an angle that is less than 90 degrees, or it can even be the right angle, and it's going to point me the distance in degrees from my x-axis to my terminal side. We have 4 quadrants in our unit circle, and it goes in the opposite direction of the clock hands. Each quadrant measures 90 degrees. So, when we move our terminal side, our reference angle will tell us a distance that is less than 90 degrees. But that only happens in the first quadrant. When we move to the second quadrant, our degrees will measure more than 90 degrees. To calculate our reference angle in this case, we will subtract the degrees that our obtuse angle measures from 180 degrees, and that would be our reference angle. For the third quadrant, the process becomes the inverse, because now our angle will be more than 180 degrees. We will subtract 180 degrees to our degrees from the right side of our x-axis to our terminal side. Finally, for the fourth quadrant, we will subtract the degrees that would measure more than 270 degrees to our full rotation, that is 360 degrees. To know the coordinates of the terminal points for the reference angles in the unit circle, we first need to take a look to these triangles and memorize them. If you see carefully, you will notice that the values of the sides are part of the coordinates that you memorize from the unit circle. You just have to know how to adjust them. The 30 degree minus 60 degree minus 90 degree triangle is seen below on the left. Next to that is a 30-degree angle drawn in standard position together with a unit circle. The two triangles have the same angles, so they are similar. Therefore, corresponding sides are proportional. The hypotenuse on the right has length 1, because it is a radius. Since this is half of the hypotenuse on the left, all of the sides on the right are half of the corresponding sides on the left. For example, the side adjacent to the 30-degree angle on the left is a square root of 3. Therefore, the corresponding side on the triangle on the right has to be half of that, or the square root of 3 over 2. This unit circle triangle is similar to the 45-degree minus 45-degree minus 90-degree triangle. Each side length can be obtained by dividing the lengths of the 45-degree minus 45-degree minus 90-degree triangle. So each leg on the unit circle triangle is 1 over square root of 2 is equal to 1 over square root of 2, but you have to multiply it with square root of 2 over square root of 2, so you don't have a square root in the lower part of your division, and then as your answer will be square root of 2 over 2.
First, I'm going to explain the unit circle. The unit circle has 4 quadrants. The quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. In the quadrant 1, the x or the cosine is positive and the sine is positive, thanks to the x and the y. In the quadrant 2, the x is negative and the y or the sine is positive. In the quadrant 3, the x is negative and the y is negative, as well as the sine and the cosine. And in the quadrant 4, the x is positive and the y is negative. And according to the angle that you have, is going to be the coordinates for each angle that you have. For example, in the angle 30 In the angle 30, it will be the root square of 3 and on the 3 and 2, comma 1 over 2. And in 45, and the angle 45 will be the root square of 2 by 2 and the root square of 2 by 2. In the angle 60, it will be 1 over 2 and the root square of 3 over 2. This is basically, we do not have to remember the whole unit circle. We can all learn it only by a simple table, which first it will be pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, pi over 2, and pi over 1. And in the second table, it will be the sine, and everything we're gonna divide it by 2. But in the part in the upper part, it will be the root square of 4. Well, first the root square of 0, then the root square of 1, then the root square of 2, then the root square of 1, and then the root square of 0. And for the cosine, as equal of the sine, we will divide it all by 2, and in the upper part, it will be the root square of 4, the root square of 3, the root square of 2, the root square of 1, and the root square of 0. And depending in which quadrant it is the circle, is the sign it will be. If it is positive or negative. It all depends in which angle you are going to use. Now, there are 6 different trigonometric type of forms. The first is the sine. It equals to the y, the cosine to the x, the tangent to y over x, the cotangent will be x over y, the cosecant will be 1 over j, and the secant it will be 1 over x. An example, as in the other video, depending in which angle you are going to use, is the coordinates you are going to use. As we know, the sine is the y and the cosine is the x. For example, in the unit circle, in the angle 60, the cosine it will be 1 over 2, and the cosine will be the root square of 3 over 2. Sorry. So if they ask you the sine of 60 degrees, it will be the root square of 3 over 2, because the sine it is the y. If they ask you the cosine of this exactly the same angle, it will be 1 over 2, because it is the x and cosine is the x. If they ask you the tangent, it will be y over x, so it will be the root square of 3 over 2 over 1 over 2. So you do the operation. I'm going to do it, and it will be the root square of 3 over 2 over 1 over 2. So we do the operation, and we will be 2 over the root square, 2 multiplicating the root square of 3 over 2. And that will be the tangent. For the cotangent, it will be exactly the same, but inverted. So first will be 1 over 2 over the root square of 3 over 2. So we multiplicate, and it will be 2, and by 2 the multiplying 2 root square of 3. But our rule is that we cannot leave the root square of 3 or any root square below. So we have to put it in the both sides. So will be 2 root square 3 multiplying 2 root square 3 or root square 3, leaving only 2 multiplying 3 because we eliminate the root square in the lower part. So it will be 2 plus multiplying the root square of 3 over 6. But we can leave it like that or we can simplify it. 2 over 2 will be 1, leaving only the root square of 3, and 6 over 2 will be 3. So the result of the cotangent of 60 degrees, it will be the root square of 3 over 3. And we can do that with the 6 types of trigonometric rules. You only have to look for the angle and know which one you are going to use. And you have to memorize always that first is the cosine and then the sine. First is the x and then is the y.
To obtain the value of the 6 trigonometric functions using reference values in the unit circle for a negative angle in radians smaller than 2 pi, in this case we have 7 pi over 6, which quadrants are negative square root of 3 over 2, comma, negative 1 half. So the sine would be minus 1 half, the cosine would be minus square root of 3 over 2, the tangent will be square root of 3 over 3, the cotangent will be square root of 3, the cosecant will be 2, and the secant will be 2 square root of 3 over 3. And finally, to obtain the value of the 6 trigonometric functions using reference values in the unit circle for an angle in radians greater than 2 pi, in this case we have pi over 6, which quadrants are square root of 3 over 2, comma 1 half, and the sine would be 1 half, the cosine would be square root of 3 over 2, the tangent would be 2 square root of 3 over 6, the cotangent would be square root of 3, the cosecant would be 2, and the secant would be 2 square root of 3 over 3.